We are so back!
Boah, das ist geil. This was amazing.
It worked. I doubted ourselves.
I also wouldn't think that it worked that well. We are back with a top 4 feature match, and being back is a good clue, because both our players are also back in the feature match area, because we have once again Escaroda, who we saw in top 8, and he is facing GermanDLS, who we saw in round number 6.
So we got our machine deck back, and we also got our Earth Aggro. So both of our semi-prominent decks here in the top cut. What was it? We had 7 Earth Beats, and we got 9 Reason Negates.
Yeah, overall.
And now we got 1 each, and they battle it out to see who gets his invite.
Yeah, the other semifinals are Chaos Control versus Chaos Turbo, I believe. It's Christian Böttcher, who we also already featured. He is in there, he's playing against Harald Rose. Both players are from Berlin. So 2 Berlin local guys duking it out in the other top 4 match. And once again, we have to set the stage for people who are just joining. This match is an invite match for the Gold Format World Championship. Whoever wins this will definitely have an invite for Gold Worlds. But what happens to the person who loses?
The person who loses has to face the loser of the other top 4 match to get the 3rd invite spot there. They have the all or nothing match in the next game, but it's so losing this game is like the least problematic loss, but you have all the pressure on your shoulders, and you want to win this game, not only for the invite, but also to be the precious first Gold Grand Prix Halle champion ever.
Obviously you want the title, but if you're just going for the invite, as you just said, losing here is not the end of the world, because you have a second shot. But I mean, winning here would just secure it. So both players actually care a lot about the invite. We talked about them later. They are really nervous. They actually know each other. They are in like the same friend group circle. So they would have preferred to play in the finals. But brackets are brutal. Sometimes you have to face your best friend, and I mean, top 4 is better than top 8.
Yeah, definitely top 4 is better than top 8. Playing your homies in top 8 is like, oh man, shame for you, but I get the invite. Yeah. And top 4 is like, it's okay that I get the invite, and I'm rooting for you to get the invite the next round, because there is a second chance.
Yes, exactly. And I believe we can switch the scene to the table, because we saw the die roll already. The last shuffles will be made, and yeah, this is for all the marbles here. The winner not only keeps their shot to win the very first German Gold Grand Prix in Halle an der Saale, but also secures their invite for this year's Gold World Championship. They will join Svenny Boy and Ali Muto, who got their invites in Osnabrück.
Yes, and we are...
Escaroda starting us off, and the Vittorio Victor Gedächtnispyramide is there for GermanDLS. And Escaroda only has a set card, which doesn't mean he does not have an explosive hand, because you don't want to escalate in turn 1.
Yeah, like going first and then doing nothing seems kind of bad in like modern standard thinking, but in Gold format, waiting a turn is sometimes everything that matters. I mean, if the Earth Aggro deck from GermanDLS is able to pressure the machine gate to like exactly 2000 life points in his first turn, that would be optimal, but I'm not sure if that's even possible. Yeah,
we thought Pot of Greed for GermanDLS is definitely a good start. We were asked where the finals will be held. Here, right after this, we will have the finals, and Monarchs unfortunately are out. They got kicked out in top 8. Reinforcement of the army getting us DD Warrior Lady. And DD Warrior Lady, remind us again, what is DD Warrior Lady?
DD Warrior Lady in this matchup exactly outs everything. there is not a single monster in Machine Gates that stands a chance against the DD Warrior Lady. And the DD Warrior Lady banishes itself. So
Scapegoats is a really good answer here to buy Escaroda sometime and give him fodder for Monster Gate. Does GermanDLS punch over a token? I believe he does.
Yeah.
The Mask of Darkness deck bubbled the event. Unfortunately, he did not make top cut despite going with a 5-2 record. So Escaroda's turn now. Sitting on 3 tokens there. So maybe we now see the aggressive OTK push we saw Escaroda performing. That's a True Nate?
True Nate.
That's a good start.
Is a good start, but the scary DD Warrior Lady still is on the board and prevents you from either committing into a good monster or is also nerfing.
We have a Book of Moon, which did what here? Oh, we see an enemy controller, Chain from Escaroda. I didn't expect that card. And then what happened there? Book was chained to True Nate and Escaroda chained enemy controller to take control of the DD Warrior Lady anyway, and it then got booked in the resolve. And now we see, I believe a 6 was called, and Cannon Sword. And this shows how good GermanDLS and Escaroda know themselves, because he knows that Escaroda is playing double blowback engines, so 6 is a very good call.
Yeah, 3 6s in the deck, only 2 4s if I remember.
Only 1.
1 4?
Only the Cannon Soldier.
Only the Cannon Soldiers, so 6 is probably the right call to make. I mean, you do not want to hit the Demog, but overall 6 should be the right answer.
Yeah. You could also argue that you want to call 2, because Cyberstein can end the game like in an instant. DD Warrior can be flipped face up here, because obviously can, there's no reason you can't do it. So this would be 2-9 damage already, plus 2,000 for Cannon Soldier. We are at 4-9, which is not enough. Not quite yet.
Yeah, but you are in no position of stress now if you are Escaroda, because the Earth Aggro deck applies pressure, but the board of Escaroda is very set up. Like, you still have 2 tokens, which slows down the pushes from the Earth Aggro deck immensely, and the DD Warrior Lady will not return, if I'm correct, because
he already will return.
But there is a Cannon Soldier that definitely
it will tribute it. Yes, correct.
Yes, you do not have the monster advantage back, and DD Warrior Lady sadly is no match for the enemy controller. And
Escaroda elects to tribute the Go token, so he doesn't want to sit behind them. He wants to deal them as literally cannon fodder to deal some damage here.
That's a good idea, and now the Cannon Soldier tributes itself, and we end on 1 back row there.
Yeah, so GermanDLS is at basically half-life, a bit less I think.
And
a lot less actually. No.
I'm not sure on the exact details there.
No, we have it 3-1.
I think these board states are saying a lot. The graveyard from Escaroda should be set up. I've seen a lot of good spell cards there already. There's a Snatch Steal, and the enemy controller obviously was also a very good card that paired quite nicely with the Go tokens.
Yeah, and with the Cannon Soldier.
And the Cannon Soldier as well is, but the Cannon Soldier does not remain on Escaroda's field. It's in his graveyard now, but it is a dark target in the graveyard. So there it might be as a chaos setup for later.
Escaroda doesn't play any chaos.
He doesn't? Oh.
No, only non-machine monster he plays is Dark Magician of Chaos. It's solely a machine attack push deck.
Just a machine attack
This is what differs it from other reasoning gate strategies, and what makes it so hard to play if you expect to... And there's another goat. This explains why he tributed the goat with Cannon Soldier, because he had another goat in reserve. Very good. And now Goblin, GermanDLS now elects to keep all 4 God tokens on the board, just to limit the options Escaroda have of summoning monsters. But now Escaroda has a lot of time to just sit there and wait until the last points of damage will be available to push for him.
Yes, I mean, it's not impossible for the machine gate deck to get rid of these goat tokens. There just needs to be another gate, and yeah, then the gate is open because
It's actually like enemy control could be also really good here. And we see the Pro Storm here and Waboku being chained by Escaroda, who yeah, has now a lot of time. Was a bit cautious to set it behind goats, because he like it's unlikely that you die through 4 goats. But Escaroda figured like, yeah, I set Waboku just in case GermanDLS is able to clear them away. Sets another back row now and plays back to GermanDLS, who will most likely flip a spy now.
yeah, and spy into spy suddenly gets rid of a lot of these goat tokens. And I mean, if you can get rid of all 4 of them in the same turn, it gets a lot better, because then there's no fodder for the monster gate. So having all 4 of them on board is good, because the machine gate deck can't escalate, and having none of them is good because the machine gate deck has no setup. But leaving only 3 or even 2 is like not that good of a thought process, because yeah, there is the spy, and now we go on 3 monsters, and maybe even have a normal summon, and then
yeah, the question is, does he want to commit the goblin attack just to defeat a token? Maybe he wants to save his attack position goblin for next turn to deal some damage with it.
Yeah, I mean, then flipping the spy is not the play in this turn, right? Because if you do not get rid of all the goat tokens in one turn, all your efforts are...
I mean, not necessarily right? Against Escaroda's deck, because Escaroda's not playing Dimension Fusion, so you don't need to clock the board of Escaroda. The main reason GermanDLS didn't attack with Goblin yet is that he wants to save it in attack position, I believe, to just deal some damage with it. So let's see, maybe that's an Exile Force, I believe?
Yes.
And not attacking with it, rather tributing, so there should be a Gigantus follow-up. It wouldn't make much sense otherwise.
There was the hand in the graveyard.
So we see a Gigantus indeed, and now he has Goblin's attack power for that. And there's also especially about maximizing the damage output. Definitely it's a good play. You don't really need to keep resources against Reasoning. You just want to push as much damage as possible as fast as you can.
Yeah, and 3,100 life points are not enough to be cautious with your spot removal in hand, because if there's a big monster on the board, you're probably already dead.
Oh, there's a ring! Ring on Goblin and GermanDLS now is on 800 life points. This is not a lot.
Yeah, and 800 life points is in fact almost prem into Cannon Soldier
for
range,
game,
right? So we have a little bit of a the Gigantus also
attacks
in,
now,
and now
bit of debate with the life points. GermanDLS has a back row as setup, but this could very well just like a decree. We saw him playing them, so we don't know if it's even live. And Escaroda doesn't need much more effort to just sneak in a game shot here. And we know he plays a limiter. He plays a lot of machines. There are many ways. Yeah. There's a reasoning, and you need to hit that. No, it was Trunate. My bad. Trunate 2 back rows. This was an interesting play. So definitely playing around the decree here. Again, showing that he knows what he's up against, like GermanDLS showed earlier. So there's probably another Waboku face down to just...
Yeah, probably. Waboku is the card to beat for GermanDLS now, because his board is strong enough to win the game. But these 2 black sleeves we are seeing there are like 2... very big hindrances for GermanDLS, and he needs to get over them. So we are changing.
He likes to play around a potential Mirror Force, which it can be a really smart play. But now, if Escaroda has Waboku, he can in fact save it. But now Escaroda is in ring to draw range from GermanDLS potentially. So this could have made a big impact here. Let's see if we see something else. We see Call of the Haunted. This could get Cannon Soldier back.
Of the Haunted into Cannon Soldier. And now we got...
he just needs to find another monster and he can maybe game here.
Standby phase.
He attacks over. He has limiter. He has limiter for the game shot here.
Yeah, that looks like a limiter to me, because attacking into the Gigantes is, yeah.
It would deal 900 damage because, yes, there's a limiter, and this should be the game for Escaroda. Do we see response by GermanDLS?
In damage step?
In damage calculation even, no, and Escaroda gets away with it. It was a well-fought game one, but Escaroda, again, demonstrating his skill with this deck at perfection. Like, he doesn't always OTK, but he made sure to deal as much damage as possible to set himself up for that game-ending shot. Like, he was not winning on resources or anything. He knew his win option and he played it to perfection.
Yes, and there wasn't much the Earth aggro deck could do in this position. Like, always staring down these defensive cards from the Machine Gate deck early on. Always like seeing these scapegoats as like the wall you cannot approach, and you have to commit immense resources on the board to even get close to beating scapegoats, and these scapegoats definitely did a lot for Escaroda this game one.
What I also find really, really interesting is, like, if you would have showed me the deck list beforehand and asked me what the MVP of the list is, I certainly wouldn't have said Cannon Soldier, but after watching the second top match in a row, Cannon Soldier did put up so much work in both games.
Yes, definitely.
So much damage Cannon Soldier got in, and even got the sneaky game shot at the end. Also, Cannon Soldier has such good synergy with limiter removal, because limiter removal will destroy all your machines anyway in the end phase, so in main phase 2 you can just tribute them all the way to deal some extra damage.
Yes, Cannon Soldier definitely is the card of all time for the machine deck. It's one of the original Metal Raiders, and that's why it's still in the machine decks today.
And let's just paint a scenario right now. Imagine Escaroda gets away with a victory here today. Like in the tournament, they would have Reasoning Gate winning back-to-back German gold compris. This would be a huge statement for the deck.
Definitely. I think everyone is playing the Turbo list, and we now just see the rise of the gate and
rise of the machines.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely. Machines are also part of, especially Cannon Soldier. Cannon Soldier is a card we saw in the other Reasoning Gate list as well.
Also, Escaroda, like, it's really, really impressive how he's performing. Again, topping back-to-back gold completes, a feat that no player has yet performed here in Germany. And if he would be able to top his top 8 finish on the book with potentially win here, this would be a huge statement to be maybe one of the best in gold players right now.
Yeah, and I mean, I imagine he did some changes to his list. He played in Osnabrück, and then playing a deck, achieving the top 8 finish there, and then get the step back look, okay, what went wrong, and adjusting to now play and reach the top 4 and going with the game 1 win in a leading position here, so possibly even reaching the final. So he his analytical skills must be very good as well, because looking at the potential flaws of the game and then figuring out how to excel his pet deck, basically.
He definitely has a great grasp on the meta game in these in real life gold tournaments. And you may watch some of the more unconventional decks being played, of the more unconventional plays we've seen earlier, and think topping a GGP is easy. But let me tell you, it's definitely not easy. And we see this with players like Grumpelstietzchen, who is arguably one of the best players right now, well, definitely one of the best German players right now, who is now 0 for 3 in 0 for 2 in topping gold compris. And also myself, I topped the very first one, but I fluked the other ones. Also GermanDLS, he is a gold compete grinder. He competed last year in Nuremberg. He competed this year in Osnabrück, and now he's competing here. Very first time he topped. So even the best of the best, yeah, you're not guaranteed to top an event just because you're a top online player. So it's a completely different beast. And also, like, I talked with JCVD today, who also is like Jean-Claude Van Damme, one of the best players of all time. Just won a patron WCQ, has 2 invites this year already. He's 0 for 3 in gold compris. Yes. He never topped one. And I talked with him today. We saw him in round 1 losing. He's like, it's completely different. It's a completely different thing.
Yeah, I think if you're playing online in the comfort of your own home, you know your surroundings, you know what you're getting into. You don't have the possible trash talk from your opponent
Yeah.
in your face. You can ignore the chat. So it's a whole other level. Also, sitting in a room where like 100 other players
Yeah.
are sitting is a totally different atmosphere than sitting at home. So I'm not wanting to discredit anyone who achieves a great online victory, because I certainly can't play online. It's
just that they are completely different beasts, and you need a different skill set to compete in each one. Because we saw it in the earlier feature in round 5, I believe, where we had a player who spotted a live tell, who like could tell from a reaction from his opponent what deck he was playing. This is something you can't do online. You don't see your opponent online react in the way you do in real life. And there are a lot of things you can pick up. And this is why I think online players are not doing as well as you would expect, because they are in theory really, really good at the format, but they are not that good playing live.
Yeah, I think that's definitely.
Okay, but now we can finally start game 2. Both players were very... they took the time starting, which I can completely understand. Again, the stakes for this match is enormous, and Escaroda is now 1 game away from securing his invite to the Gotcha World Championship. This must be a nerve-wracking feeling, and I know it because I know this feeling, but I never succeeded in this spot. So I was close before, I never did it. Maybe Escaroda can. One of these will, that's for sure. Swords it's an interesting card because it is in general it's pretty good, but against a deck who just trunates it away, it can be useless. But it at least forces your opponent to draw into an out for it. And Escaroda is obviously no immediate rush, just set to back row and then passes back to GermanDLS.
Yes, and now I'm very interested in the set monster, because the Earth aggro deck wants to apply pressure, but setting a monster is...
I would assume it's against spy, like we saw before.
there's
Oh, it's not a
Wango.
spy, because we see a Wango being normal summed. No flipping a spy wouldn't make any sense.
No, I mean, maybe he lets his spy set.
Maybe, yes, this is a possibility. And there's a Trunade.
Trunade.
This was a good play, but Waboku. This was obviously to play around scapegoats, but there was no scapegoat inside. Both are chainables, Waboku and Jar. But I don't know if I would have chained Waboku here, to be honest, because you're not dying this turn. And now DLS flips by. This seems like a misplay, because now he will lose.
They
some
will
spy.
catch on to this, I believe.
They will.
After resolve,
yes, Escaroda is pointing it out. It does go to grave because of King Tiger Wangu. So this definitely was a sequencing mistake by GermanDLS. But they are playing for, let's look at my clock, I believe 8 hours straight now. We started at 12 p.m.
Yeah.
It's even longer, 8.5 hours straight. They are playing. This is the 9th round. They are playing. Your brain is cooked.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't catch every play, and I wasn't even playing. I was just looking. So now they are discussing if the flipped summoned spy also get destroyed.
No, flip summon spy obviously stays, because it isn't a normal summon. GermanDLS can't attack because of Waboku. He can attack, but he won't deal any damage.
Yeah.
Swords are getting back down here, and I think Escaroda is now in a better spot. But potentially Scapegoats and also Cannon Soldier can't hit the board right now.
Yes. So we are in fact safe from Scapegoats, the biggest obstacle in game 1.
Yeah, both of the biggest obstacles, because also Cannon Soldier was a huge problem.
Yes.
Again, I think I wouldn't have flipped for Boku there, I would have kept it. But Escaroda, now we see a brain control. So I predict the Blowback Dragon now. We know he's playing multiple copies of it, and he
could just be the fodder he needs from
Monster Gate. You're completely right. This is also, and it's enemy controller. Oh, enemy controller really putting in work in his build. I like it.
And now we are using it for a tribute summon.
Yeah, now we will either see Monster Gate or Blowback Dragon for sure here, because he would have done it the other way around.
Yeah.
There is the Monster Gate. Let's see what we can hit now. We see a ring, we see a Cypher Soldier coming in. It's also a machine, and it's pretty good against warriors.
Yes. Cypher Soldier, for those who don't know, is a machine that gets an additional 3,000?
2,000.
2,000 attack.
And defense.
And defense if he plays against, if there's a warrior on board.
If it attacks or is attacked by a warrior
Yes,
monster.
and it is, with his stat line, good enough to even beat the big black luster soldier.
It is not as good against Earthbeat as against Warrior, because of Gigantis can just run over it. We know that GermanDLS is also playing Gorillas, which is not a Warrior.
Yeah.
But it's just a machine you can bring. It's also a different level for reasoning, so no one will call free against you. And I mean, I don't know exactly on top of my head. I don't believe it stacks with a limiter. I actually don't know exactly how this interaction works, but there should be huge amounts of damage you can do with limiter in Cypher.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's a dangerous combo. So we see that's a warrior which can out the Cypher Soldier. It's Extra Force. You don't want to use the Warrior Lady. I mean, it outs it, but it outs it for a big cost. You would take a lot of damage crashing into Cypher with the Warrior Lady.
Yeah, but if you have no other way, the Warrior Lady in fact beats Cypher Soldier.
And Tobias is confirming in chat, it doesn't stack with limiter. Thank you for that information. Yeah, I remember that the interaction is not as OP as it could be.
I mean, the limiter applies first and then...
Yeah, and then the attack boost goes. It's still ridiculous amount of damage you can deal.
Yeah.
Of course.
But it's like a 4k beat stick instead of a 6k beat stick.
Yes, which is a difference. Would even be a 7k beat stick. Almost.
Yeah, you're right.
Almost 7k.
Almost 7k.
This is kind of crazy. Grace is also kind of crazy. And maybe the card we saw on the board most often today.
Yeah, Graceful Charity definitely is generous today.
Yeah.
I'm still kind of, if you missed it, was it round 2 or round 3?
It was round 4, I believe, where we
4?
saw 4 Graces in one turn.
And if you missed that, we go back and look the round 4 feature match where Graceful Charity was resolved 4 times.
Also subscribe to Return Winner because I will probably upload all the feature matches separately.
And there was an Exiled Force that got rid of
Cypher Soldier. Double Gigantis.
Now double Gigantis is a huge amount of damage.
Yes, it's 3,800 life points right there in Escaroda. Escaroda is kind of thinking, does he maybe side deck into Kuriboh there?
I mean, it's an option.
It definitely is. I don't even know if he side decks Kuriboh. But it's definitely a possibility here. But he just soaks up the damage, goes into his turn, and now the swords are really doing a lot. Trapped as true. Do we see a monster? Yes, there are 2 monsters in fact. Cyberstein, which is dead now because Escaroda does not have enough life points to resolve him.
Yes, and the other card is a card you do not want to shuffle back.
Yeah, it's a Demog. I mean, I think you want to shuffle it back because... I don't know. It's kind of difficult. Yeah, do you want to shuffle back a Demog here? It's actually a good question. I mean, Cyberstein is dead, but
Cyberstein is dead, and it's a possible card to hit with your next turn top deck.
Reasoning on Monster Gate. You're correct.
On Monster Gate. So getting the Stein back into the deck is definitely better than risking getting Demog next turn.
I completely agree with you. So very good play because GermanDLS is aware of that. Makes the correct choice, sends back Cyberstein, and Escaroda is now left with just goats. But just goats can probably protect him for like 1 or 2 turns. Let's see how much gas is in GermanDLS' hand. Swords are now finally gone. They should be gone if I remember correctly.
No, they got resetted with
Trunade.
With Trunade.
You are
so
completely right.
We got a turn more storms. So yeah.
I think they're debating the turns right now.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, but I think you are correct. I think you're completely correct. Players are
just because it was reset, it's sometimes a little bit iffy.
Yeah.
But there's now the Kaiku, and we are getting rid of 3 tokens now, right?
So Escaroda is left with Demog and Limiter in his hand. He needs to find something. He needs to find it now. And it's the Monster Gate.
There is the Monster Gate. And now we see if the Cyberstein makes his appearance again.
To be honest, there's not much to hit here. Like, Cannon Soldier does nothing for you here. Blowback Dragon is probably the best hit you could have here because you can... It's Jinzo. Jinzo is decent, but you can't attack, unfortunately. Sword's really doing good work. But now you have Jinzo Limiter, which isn't the worst thing you could have.
But we saw the Smashing Grounds in game 1.
Deck here.
So...
Smashing Ground obviously would be just game here. Also setting Limiter, you kinda giving GermanDLS the opportunity to just get rid of limiter with attacking into Jinzo.
Yes.
So,
but you would take a lot of damage.
no, you wouldn't chain limiter to this, because then your Jinzo dies in the end phase, and you can't afford that. So you could just attack with Fong Gigantes into Jinzo, take 500 and get rid of limiter. So setting limiter is not a good play here.
Yeah, so if Earth Aggro GermanDLS just draws the out, he wins.
Yeah. It's over anyway.
And,
so
if he does not in fact draw the out, then he can get rid of the limiter if he sees it.
He should definitely do it.
Maybe he is afraid of taking that much damage.
Oh,
but,
there's Lily. And now it actually... I think I would have attacked with Gigantes first.
Yeah, I think Gigantes.
Gigantes is a better play here. But actually, now we are proving one. If Escaroda hadn't set limiter here, he would have died.
Yes.
So it was the correct play, because he was respecting Lily, which was a smart play. So this is why Escaroda is sitting there, and we aren't.
Yeah, definitely.
GermanDLS is taking a lot of damage here, so Jinzo's at 4-8, and you pump up your Lily anyway, so you take about 3000 damage in total. But now Jinzo dies in end phase, and Escaroda is only left with Dark Magician of Chaos in hand, and nothing else. Also, GermanDLS can push his monster to defense here. So yeah, this is top deck for Escaroda. Can he find something to climb back here, or do we go?
It looks like we play.
It's Swords!
Swords is a play, definitely keeps him in the game, but every back row removal in the world is now like an instant win.
Yeah, but I think this is one of the best cards Escaroda could have drawn, besides maybe Pot or Grace, because it gives him time to find answers. This is like the best one-card draw you could have here.
Definitely. Definitely the best draw he could have had.
Yeah.
But with the True Nates in the main deck and like Storm and...
I don't think you keep True Nates against... he kept it. Yeah,
he kept it.
Yeah, at least one. He kept at least one. But still, he is now trying to assemble some machines again. And GermanDLS took quite a lot of damage through this limiter interaction. And again, I have to give it up for Escaroda. I wouldn't have set limiter there, and I would have lost at that point. He respected the Lily, he played it safe, and he got rewarded.
Definitely. And yeah, so we are just sitting behind the swords and an unknown back row.
Maybe a Waboku, maybe it is Goats. It could be double protection. It definitely is not a Jar. He would have activated it already. Maybe it's just a bluff.
So
and we see a set monster.
Just a set monster.
Third spy, maybe?
Maybe it's a third spy. What else could we set there?
I mean, you could pretty much set anything. You could set the Devour, just setting a monster to beef up your field, to not lose against the Vortex and Machine Push. So I think you could set a Gorilla here and it would be fine. Just strengthen your position, you can flip it next turn to deal damage. So it could
set monsters are less likely to get lightning vortexed.
What do you call it? I think you have to call 6 here.
You have to call 6. Yeah. There is a Demok in hand.
Yeah, Fusilier doesn't hurt you that much.
Fusilier is fine, and you could also hit the Stein.
Stein and Cannon Soldier don't do anything here.
Yeah, Stein and Cannon Soldier both are no threats here. It could also be an enemy controller set there that wouldn't do anything.
He could also hit like a Cypher Soldier if he bought it more than one.
Yeah, definitely a Cypher Soldier. But Cypher Soldier is also not that good of a monster against Rocks and Spellcaster.
So he got 6. Yeah, he did the correct play. Again, both players really proving why they are sitting there. And he hit... What is it? I can't see it. Was it Stein? I think he... What is it? It is the Cannon Soldier. Yeah, this is not the card you wanted to hit there.
Yeah, Cannon Soldier at least is strong enough to get over the Kaiku.
It also can get over Gigantes. Gigantes has 1-3 defense.
Oh, 1-3.
But you would lose your back row.
I knew that Gigantes couldn't be overrun with Tsukuyomi, so...
Okay, so now both players would lose their back row. And we see a Royal Decree being activated. This is not correct, because if it would be a trap, Escaroda could chain that right away. So you wait for your opponent to activate the trap and then chain Decree. So this was a sequencing mistake by GermanDLS. And let's see what it was. And Escaroda is scooping! Okay, that's it. He may be recognizing a misplay, or it was all over anyway. So, GermanDLS.
Yeah, I mean, he pointed at the Kaiku, so maybe he had...
he doesn't play Chaos Monsters. So.
Yeah, but he pointed at the Kaiku, so it must have done it. It must have done something.
Yeah, it definitely did something there. And we're going into game 3. What more can you ask for? This is a deciding game for the GOAT World Championship invite. One game to take it all. Who do you think has the edge here?
I think with losing the second game, Escaroda should have the edge because he is the one that's going first. And we saw time and time again that the Earth aggro deck, even with board presence, struggles into the like stalling back row of the machine gate deck. So yeah, I myself think that the matchup should be favored for the machine gate deck if everything went right for both players.
Yeah, you can say that. I mean, GermanDLS probably has a deck which is more consistent than Escaroda, so he has the higher chance to open okay, but Escaroda can just open the game shot. Like we thought, like if he just has an OTK and GermanDLS has nothing really to deal with it. I think it's really interesting that GermanDLS both kept Trunade and Decrease, really respecting these Wabokos.
Yeah, definitely. We can't win through Waboku.
Yeah.
Like if we saw it in game 1 where the Waboku protected the scapegoat tokens and stuff like that buys so much more time than just flipping Waboku on an open board. And so we need to have all the advantages against these board wipes. Also, like Ring of Destruction still is a card that wins games.
Yeah,
and
obviously. Also, we know he's playing Jazz, so definitely Decree is solid there.
Yeah, opening Decree and sitting under Decree with your big monsters should be a decent position.
I would argue about Trunade, but Trunade is good to recycle your swords or to abuse it with Prem. And yeah, so you probably have some dead cards you can side out.
And if you activate Trunade under your Decree, you reset everything from the opponent, and yeah. So I think Trunade is a good card.
Okay, let's. We need to take a breather here because it's so exciting action. Shoutouts to all of you who are still watching or still grinding with you. Doesn't matter if you were with us from the start of the day or if you're just joining now. We're definitely at a high point in viewers, which is exciting to see. Like we are close to the finish line, and you are all coming up to watch it. Huge shoutouts to you guys. And who are you rooting for? Do you want to see Escaroda at the GOAT World Championship? Do you want to see GermanDLS, or do you want to see both?
Yeah, definitely the possibility for both of them to still go through to the World Championship, because there is the all-important game.
The third place playoff.
Yeah, the third place playoff that still holds that last invite spot. So losing here is not that bad. It just puts a lot of pressure on your shoulders.
Yes, and again, both players really do care a lot. They really want to represent Germany at the GOAT World Championship, which we like to see. So let's see how Game 3 will go as soon as it starts. Do we have an update on the other top 4 match? Is it still going? It's over. Who won there?
Harald Rose.
So we will definitely have Harald Rose representing Germany at the GOAT World Championship. He defeated his good friend and buddy Christian Böttcher, who will have that all-important third place playoff match against the loser of this match. And we will see Harald Rose in the final. I believe Harald Rose played Chaos Turbo. Yes, I see nods here, so yes, Harald Rose did play Chaos Turbo in the final against...
I mean, it was to expected to have a Chaos Turbo in the final, because it's arguably the best deck. So,
but I mean, in Top Cut, only 1/4 of the field was playing it, so the chances were pretty high that this will not make it.
But the chances of the players that are good with the deck are in Top Cut are also pretty high. So, yeah.
Gizmo in chat is voting for Escaroda, so we have our first answer here. So, who are the guys who are rooting for GermanDLS? I like both of these guys, so I really can't decide. I just hope we get a good Game 3, which will see the better player win this one.
Yeah, so both of them shuffle up one last time, and then we will start with this game 3. And yeah, if you are Escaroda, you are very happy to go first here, right?
Yeah, of course. I mean, arguably Machine Gate is the deck where you don't really mind to go second because you want to OTK anyway, but going first is such you see one card more. It's you can't deny that this is important. You have time to set up your goats to possibly and goats is so good in Escaroda's deck because of Cannon Soldier. There's a Pot of Greed. Just start with 2 cards more. Why not?
Yeah, Pot of Greed is always good to see. It's always nice to draw 1 card from your deck and it smiles at you. And
that beautiful smile.
Yeah, that smile.
But
that
Simon,
goddamn smile.
What does Pot of Greed actually do?
So, Pot of Greed is actually a very interesting card. It has a lot of text, so I'm not confused that you've never read it before. So, yeah. Actually,
I can't read all cards in preparation. There's some niche cards you don't just prepare for.
And a Pot of Greed definitely is one of the cards of all time. It lets you draw 2 cards.
2?
Yes.
But it's only 1 card.
It's only 1
It's
card.
amazing. Why did I cut Pot of Greed? I never played it.
That is the reason why you've never topped one Goat Grand Prix.
I topped 1.
Yeah,
I topped 1, yeah.
Without Pot of Greed.
No, with Pot of Greed, obviously. Let's not spread rumors here. And Graceful Charity is gracing her presence for GermanDLS. And, like, it's always the left player who is graced, right?
Yeah.
It's always the left one.
I think the left player is the one that is graced. And
we don't have left shark, we have left grace.
We have left grace here in Halle, and we are graced to see that there are earth monsters being discarded, which could potentially lead to a Gigantus in hand. Yeah. Also, the Goblin attack force is not that great into the scapegoats.
Yeah, and if I'm playing Earth Aggro, I love to discard my goblins because they're a good Gigantes fodder. And also, if you have Call or Prem, it's like 2 free damage. Free. You take. You definitely want to rebound that card. So very naturally to discard it first. And GermanDLS possibly has a lot more beta in his hands. And he discards Breaker. This is very surprising.
I mean, normal summoning Breaker in this point, just to pop the back row, that is a chainable card that you are not... Like, there's always a better card you could normal summon here.
I get it.
Normal summon Wang Hu here would be much better.
Also red is better, so we see 2 attacks connect. Escaroda drops down to almost half. Like, he has a bit more to spare. Excuse me.
Yeah, so we now have like a good push for the Earth Aggro deck. Like we saw before, every damage early is very good, and now we got the Trap Dust Shot that...
And we see the hand of Escaroda is completely dead.
Yeah, there's nothing there. The only play he has is normal summon Cannon Soldier to monster gate it away.
We take Cannon Soldier away.
When we take Cannon Soldier away, there's nothing he can do, and that must be devastating.
Escaroda with the brick here at the moment of moments, you take away Cannon Soldier, and it's just over. And we see a dice on the table. We might be in timeout.
And that would be even worse for this. OTK deck to be in timeout with that huge of a life deficit.
Yes, definitely. And again, we see no play for Escaroda. We don't know what the face on is. It's probably just a Waboku. Maybe it's a Jar. It could very well be a Jar, but there's no possible play. Like, all monsters in hand are dead. We see a Demok, a Jinzo, and a Blowback, and there's Dead Call, Dead Prem, and Dead Monster Gate. This is horrible.
And the set card is most likely no scapegoat.
It could be Waboku, but again, I think they are really in timeout. So this is turn 2 of timeout.
Yeah, that's turn 2 of timeout. So Escaroda gets 1 more turn to get this all, and GermanDLS has all of his 2 turns left, and now
Yeah,
he just needs to control it down for his invite.
Escaroda, somehow has to deal so much damage with one battle phase and a completely dead hand. Like, what do you need to draw here? Like, card destruction. I don't even know if he plays card destruction. This would be a card which helps you here, but this is so rough. Like, you need to draw Grace here. If you draw Grace, you're good, because you just Demog and then you go party.
Yeah,
but
I mean, there's a Trunade and
nothing.
There's nothing.
So this should be just game. GermanDLS is one normal summoning away from securing his invite to the God from the World Championship.
Yeah, there is a Cyberstein.
It is a Cyberstein.
It's just over.
It's the first time we see Cyberstein for GermanDLS, and we see the fist bump. Ladies and gentlemen, GermanDLS will represent Germany, fitting, at the God from the World Championship. And I'm really happy for him. He's grinding his ass off, really. He plays a lot of goals. He finally got there. He was down 1-0 against Escaroda, and he will now be in the finals.
And the finals are just around the corner. Like we said before, the other semi-final already has finished. So we have a short break, and then we will be right back with the final.
We won't have an interview because we have both players already. We want to continue. So thank you for watching. We will be right back.